At my 18th birthday party, held right here in the cabin my grandparents left me, I quietly finalized the transfer of their entire multi-million-dollar estate into an irrevocable trust. The party was in full swing, everyone raising glasses and laughing like everything was perfect. While they toasted to my future, I slipped away, pulled out my phone, and hit confirm on the digital signature that locked everything down. The cabin, the land, the accounts. My name is Elena Vance, and that one click made me the sole trustee. No turning back. The very next morning, as mountain fog hung thick in the valleys, I heard tires crunching gravel outside. A moving truck pulled up, followed by my parents and younger brother, all stepping out with big smiles and a thick stack of papers. "We've got it all sorted," my dad announced confidently. "The house belongs to us now." They started directing movers like they already owned the place, telling me to pack my things by day's end. That's when they looked up and saw the man in the suit standing next to a sheriff's deputy, holding an official folder and waiting calmly. If you've ever dealt with family trying to claim what's yours, drop your story in the comments below. I read them all. And if boundary setting and toxic dynamics hit home, subscribe for more stories like this. You won't want to miss what happens next. When I was 14, everything changed with one letter. It was from a prestigious high school in Nashville offering me a full scholarship based on my grades, a merit program covering tuition for top Tennessee students. I rushed home clutching that envelope, heart pounding. This was my ticket out, proof that hard work paid off despite everything. I burst through the door and showed my parents. My mother glanced briefly. "That's nice, honey," and turned back to her phone call. My father nodded, said, "Good job," but his eyes stayed on the TV, showing highlights from Caleb's latest football game. Within minutes, the conversation shifted entirely to Caleb's fight at school, a scuffle that got him suspended. The house revolved around him all week. Meetings with the principal, a private tutor, even a gathering with teammates to cheer him up. I sat at dinner listening, my scholarship letter forgotten on the counter. No one organized anything for me, no family dinner to celebrate. I framed that letter myself and hung it in my room, a quiet reminder that achievements like mine were expected, not celebrated. That moment hit hard. My successes were background noise, while Caleb's mistakes became the main event demanding everyone's attention. The second blow came the following year. Caleb, then 15, crashed his expensive dirt bike into a neighbor's fence while showing off. Damage was minor, a few $100s to fix. I expected consequences. When I'd accidentally broken a cherished family vase while cleaning, I was grounded for weeks. But with Caleb, my parents immediately wrote a check, then upgraded him to an even better bike, saying he deserved something reliable after the scare. They framed it as teaching responsibility. To me, it felt like rewarding recklessness. Caleb came home grinning, showing off his new bike while my father clapped his back. Boys will be boys. No grounding, no loss of privileges, just more support. That incident crystallized everything. I wasn't just overlooked. I was held to a higher standard, expected to be perfect and independent, while Caleb's flaws were excused and even turned into opportunities. It forced me into a role I never asked for, the responsible one who handled her own disappointments, who didn't cause waves, who fixed things quietly because asking for fairness never led anywhere. These moments shaped how I moved through the world. I stopped sharing my wins, buried the hurt deeper, and relied only on myself. The unfairness didn't make me bitter toward Caleb. He was just a kid benefiting from the system our parents built. But it made me question what family meant when support flowed only one way. Looking back, those events were the turning point. They taught me that expecting equity at home was futile, and if I wanted security, I'd have to create it outside those walls. The cabin in the Cumberland Mountains became my true refuge. Weekend trips from Nashville, 2 hours on curving highways felt like crossing into another life. City noise faded, replaced by wind in the pines and gravel crunching under tires. Afternoons meant projects with my grandfather, Harold Vance. We'd spot issues like a sagging porch roof, gathered tools from his shed, and climb ladders together to replace rotten boards or patch shingles. He moved slower as time passed, but never lost his precision, showing me how to cut angles clean and seal seams properly. His steady nod when a repair held firm gave me deeper satisfaction than any report card. Firewood preparation filled other days. Grandfather ran the chainsaw to buck fallen trees into rounds. Then we'd split them behind the cabin. He'd demonstrate the swing, weight shifting, maul meeting grain for a clean break. I'd take turns, muscles burning, stacking pieces neatly to season. Breaks meant cold water from the hand pump and quiet talk about the forest, how certain trees grew stronger in poor soil, or memories of storms that downed whole ridges. Those sessions built resilience through repetition and care. Firewood preparation filled other days. Grandfather ran the chainsaw to buck fallen trees into rounds. Then we'd split them behind the cabin. He'd demonstrate the swing, weight shifting, maul meeting grain for a clean break. I'd take turns, muscles burning, stacking pieces neatly to season. Breaks meant cold water from the hand pump and quiet talk about the forest, how certain trees grew stronger in poor soil, or memories of storms that downed whole ridges. Those sessions built resilience through repetition and care. As their health declined, my role grew. Doctor visits in nearby towns meant longer stays, helping with daily tasks, carrying groceries, reading mail aloud, sitting vigil during hospital stays. They expressed gratitude in small ways, a hand squeeze, an extra slice of pie, never demanding but clearly appreciating my presence. One conversation altered everything. Grandfather sat in his worn armchair beside the stone fireplace one fall night. Grandmother had retired early, leaving us in comfortable silence until he spoke. "I've seen how Richard manages finances," he said plainly. "And Derek too, chasing schemes that don't pan out, overextending on credit. Your grandmother and I talked it through. That's why the cabin, the land, everything we've saved, it's yours. We know you'll steward it responsibly." Then came the line that echoed long after. Family isn't always about who deserves what they're given. Some aren't meant to hold on to certain things. Those words lodged in me, sparking questions about comments I'd overheard from my father regarding property values or potential sales. Doubt took root quietly that night, reshaping how I viewed casual family mentions of the place. Their declines accelerated afterward. Grandmother slipped on ice one winter. Complications set in quickly. Grandfather followed soon, heart giving out as if unwilling to continue alone. The service was intimate, at a small church overlooking the ridges they cherished. When the attorney read the will formally, confirming full transfer to me, the cabin, forested acres, modest investments, reality sank in. This wasn't mere inheritance. It represented deliberate choices, trust placed in my hands alone. Standing outside later, mountains shrouded in mist, the burden felt immense, honoring their faith by protecting what they'd built against any threats, known or unforeseen. Word spread quickly about potential new tourism developments in the Cumberland Mountains. Talk of expanded lodging, better access roads, more attractions. Property values in nearby Townsend and Pigeon Forge climbed steadily. The buzz reached our family, shifting how they talked about the cabin. Visits from Nashville became more frequent. My parents showed up unannounced on weekends, claiming they wanted to check on things or clear out leftovers from storage. Derek arrived most often. His small construction business had folded, leaving unpaid loans and credit card debt piling up. He'd park his truck, walk the property lines with a measuring tape, muttering about acreage and views. One afternoon, he sat on the porch steps sketching ideas. "This spot has serious potential," he said, gesturing toward the forested slope. "With all the new projects nearby, land like this could fetch a fortune if sold at the right time. Splitting proceeds would give everyone a boost, cover debt, set up savings, maybe help Caleb with college." My father agreed during his next visit, pointing out maintenance costs, roof repairs, property taxes. "It's a big responsibility for one person," he noted. Mother chimed in about home updates in Nashville or a family vacation. Caleb got excited, imagining a new truck or gear for his football team. Their comments layered on visit after visit, always circling back to timing the sale perfectly. I listened without pushing back, noticing how conversations avoided memories of the place and jumped straight to appraisals. Care morphed into calculation, concern into convenience. Derek's pressure intensified. He'd text about opportunities slipping away, forward articles on regional growth. Once he brought printouts of comparable sales, numbers far above what the land had been worth when my grandparents bought it. My parents backed him fully by then, discussing division of proceeds openly in front of me, assuming agreement. The shift crystallized during one group outing to walk the boundary markers. Derek paced off sections, estimating values. Father nodded along, calculating totals. Mother worried aloud about missing peak prices. Caleb trailed behind, already spending hypothetical cash. No one asked how I felt about parting with the only spot that ever felt truly mine. That day removed any lingering doubt. Their interest wasn't in preserving legacy. It centered purely on profit. Suspicion hardened into certainty. They viewed the inheritance as communal resource, not individual gift. Driving down to Nashville for my appointment with attorney Jonathan Webb felt longer than usual, every curve giving time to second guess. His office sat in a quiet downtown building. Grandfather had recommended him years ago. Jonathan greeted me calmly, gesturing to a chair across from his desk stacked with folders. We reviewed documents prepared in advance: the irrevocable trust structure, funding schedules, deed transfers. Everything waited only for my final signature, now that I'd turned 18. He explained protections. Placing assets in this trust removed them from my personal estate, shielding against future claims while honoring my grandparents' intent. Tennessee law allowed it fully at my age. No guardianship needed. Then he leaned forward, voice steady but direct. "Are you prepared for the fallout? This could mean confrontation, even losing ties with your family if they push back." The question hung heavy. Memories flooded in. Rare good times like Christmas when Caleb was little, decorating the tree together, my parents laughing. Or road trips, ice cream, feeling almost normal. Mother helping with a school project late one night. Father cheering at a recital. Caleb sharing headphones on a long drive. Those flashes made the choice ache. Protecting the inheritance meant drawing a line they might never forgive. Isolation loomed. Holidays empty, calls ceased, the already thin connections snapping entirely. Jonathan waited patiently. "It's not impulsive," he added gently. "You've thought this through, but it is permanent." Doubt crested that afternoon. Driving back up the mountain, fog rolling in early, I pulled over at an overlook and sat with the engine off. The quiet pressed in, mirroring the fear of silence from home if I followed through. What if they surprised me? What if the pressure was just worry, not greed? Losing whatever remained of family felt like grieving them prematurely. Sleep evaded me that night in the cabin. Fire low in the hearth, I paced rooms my grandparents filled with life, touching familiar objects, a carved walking stick, grandmother's quilt. Their trust in me weighed against the pull of blood ties. By dawn, clarity emerged, not as thunder, but quiet resolve. The recent visits, calculations disguised as care, Derek's urgency, all pointed one direction. Waiting risked everything they'd built slipping away through manipulation or forged claims. The decision crystallized: safeguard their legacy, accept the pain of potential estrangement. Back in Jonathan's office the next morning, hand steadier than expected, I signed the final pages. Relief washed over, security locked in, mingled with sharp sorrow for bridges possibly burned. He shook my hand firmly. This took courage. Many hesitate forever. Leaving Nashville, city giving way to foothills, the mix settled. Empowerment from action, grief over fractured bonds ahead. Maturity arrived not gently, but necessarily, forged in that irreversible choice. The family dinner invitation came as no surprise. They suggested gathering at the cabin. Easier for everyone, they claimed. I agreed, curious to see how far assumptions had gone. Preparations kept me busy, stocking the pantry, setting the long oak table my grandparents built. The fireplace crackled as vehicles pulled up. Father arrived with Mother carrying wine and pie. Caleb followed, duffel slung over his shoulder. Derek showed up last, toolbox in hand. Conversation started light over appetizers. Weather, Caleb's football playoffs, laughter flowed, plates passed around the table. I waited until dessert, coffees steaming in mugs, before steering it deliberately. Hypothetically, I said casually, if this cabin suddenly didn't belong to any of us, if it went to charity, what would everyone think? Silence dropped instantly. Caleb shifted. Don't joke like that. It's not funny. Derek recovered quickest, leaning forward with a practiced smile. Best move would be selling quick, lock in current values, split clean. Father cleared his throat. Practical to liquidate, invest proceeds. Mother busied herself refilling cups. We'd figure something fair, she added vaguely. The deflection fueled the shift. Talk turned swiftly to improvements, Derek sketching on a napkin. Expand the loft, add a hot tub for rental appeal. Caleb jumped in. Turn it into an Airbnb. I'd handle bookings. Father nodded. Smart use of space, modern kitchen upgrade. Mother suggested brighter colors, open layout, as if decisions were collective already. No one paused to ask my input. Plans built on each other. Voices overlapping with estimated nightly rates, contractor contacts, tax advantages. I sat back, observing the ease with which they claimed ownership in conversation. Assumptions filled the air thicker than wood smoke. Proceeds divided equally, schedules coordinated around family use. Derek described profit projections. Caleb scrolled comparable properties. Father calculated potential income. Mother agreed it could fund Caleb's college. The evening revealed everything without confrontation. Their vision excluded my role beyond passive agreement, treating the place as shared asset ripe for transformation. Tension coiled inside me, but outwardly I nodded along, refilling drinks, clearing plates. As dishes stacked in the sink, Derek clapped my shoulder. Good thinking ahead will make it work for everybody. The words landed hollow, underscoring how thoroughly they'd rewritten reality in their minds. It confirmed the trust's necessity more than any argument could. Boundaries weren't just legal, they felt essential for survival. Dawn light filtered through pines when the rumble started. A large moving truck lumbered up the dirt road, followed by two familiar vehicles. My parents, Caleb, and Derek emerged, faces bright with anticipation as hired crew hopped down. Caleb waved a thick envelope triumphantly. We got it done, signed and filed. Everything's official now. Father directed workers toward furniture visible through windows. Start with the heavier pieces. Mother organized boxes she'd brought, labeling them for different rooms. Derek supervised the truck ramp, joking with the crew. Confidence radiated from them all. Casual instructions, easy laughter, plans discussed openly for loading order and storage units. Caleb handed documents around, proudly explaining how he'd handled the notary part himself. They moved efficiently, wrapping grandfather's old rocker, stacking grandmother's quilts into containers. Chatter filled the air. Where to store decor, potential garage sales, quick timeline to clear the place. I stood near the door, watching without interference. The crew hauled out a bookshelf, Caleb directing traffic. Then the group paused mid-motion, gazes lifting toward the wide porch overhead. Jonathan Webb stood there, composed in his suit beside a uniformed sheriff's deputy from Blount County. Both held official folders, expressions neutral but unmistakable. Jonathan descended slowly. "I need to speak with everyone present regarding this property." Father straightened, smile fading. "Who are you?" "Jonathan Webb, attorney handling the estate trust for Elena Vance. This is Deputy Harmon, responding to a reported attempted unlawful transfer." Caleb clutched the envelope tighter. "We have paperwork. It's all legal." Jonathan accepted the documents, calmly flipping pages. "These filings are invalid. Forged signatures and unauthorized notary stamps. Records show no matching certification." Derek's face paled. There must be a mix-up. Deputy Harmon spoke evenly. Attempting to transfer title without owner consent, especially with fraudulent instruments, constitutes title fraud under Tennessee Code. Cease immediately. Mother's hand flew to her mouth. "We thought we were just correcting things for the family." Father's posture deflated. "Let's discuss this reasonably." Jonathan continued, unflinching. "The property resides in an irrevocable trust executed legally weeks ago. Elena is sole trustee. Any further action risks criminal charges." Attention turned to Caleb, envelope trembling in his grip. He'd signed as co-owner transferee, believing guidance from parents made it binding. His bravado cracked, eyes widening, color draining. "I only did what they told me, thought it was fine." Derek averted his gaze. Mother reached for Caleb instinctively, but shock froze her. Father rubbed his temples, words failing. The crew shifted awkwardly. Deputy Harmon addressed them directly. "No loading today. This stops now." Silence blanketed the clearing, broken only by wind through trees. Caleb sank onto a box, head in hands, use exposed in the collapse. Derek's schemes unraveled visibly. Parents exchanged defeated looks. Jonathan handed copies of trust summaries and cease notices. "Further attempts will escalate. Recommend consulting independent counsel." They retreated without protest, crew climbing back into the truck, family vehicles reversing down the drive. Dust settled slowly, leaving the porch empty except for Jonathan and the deputy. The reversal struck deepest through Caleb. His role in signing exposed him most directly, turning teenage confidence into raw vulnerability. The others carried quieter defeats, Derek's schemes dashed, parents' justifications hollowed. Stripped away pretense, revealing consequences in real time, legal walls holding firm against overreach. Jonathan filed the countersuit shortly after, alleging attempted title fraud and intentional interference with inheritance rights under Tennessee statutes. The case moved through Blount County Court, discovery uncovering forged notary, emails coordinating the plan, even Caleb's online searches for quick property transfer forms. Evidence mounted clearly, leaving little room for defense. My family hired separate counsel, costs adding up quickly. Derek's situation worsened fastest. Existing creditors circled when news spread, pushing him toward bankruptcy protection that still left judgments hanging. Trial lasted only days. The judge ruled decisively in my favor, awarding compensatory damages for legal fees and punitive amounts. Total burden exceeded 6 figures, straining finances already stretched thin. No appeals followed. Resources ran dry. Payments arrived through garnishment and liens drawn out over months. Contact ceased entirely afterward. Phone numbers blocked, social media privatized, holiday cards stopped, group chats dissolved. Not one message arrived. No regret, no accountability. Silence replaced tension, absolute and final. Life at the cabin shifted into rhythm I controlled fully. Mornings meant tending the garden plot grandmother cherished, turning rich soil, planting heirloom seeds she'd saved. Rows of tomatoes, beans, herbs emerged under my care. Afternoons brought maintenance. I tackled the porch roof grandfather once patched, sourcing matching shingles, nailing new ones secure. Each strike echoed satisfaction, preserving structure with my own hands, extending legacy practically. Evenings settled beside the fireplace alone. Flames danced over logs I'd split myself, warmth spreading through rooms filled with familiar creaks and quiet. Books from their shelves became companions, tea steaming on the side table, nights stretched peaceful, without interruption. Solitude revealed depth I hadn't known, space to process years of imbalance, grieve lost connections, while embracing chosen independence. Freedom tasted real, decisions mine, pace unhurried. Derek relocated eventually, rumors placing him farther south, chasing construction work. Parents scaled back, spending noticeably less. Caleb finished high school quieter than before. Distance grew literal and emotional, paths diverging without overlap. Standing on the wide porch one crisp morning, coffee in hand, I watched mist lift from the valley below. Pines swayed, birds called across ridges, light broke golden over land secured. The view held everything earned through hard choice, peace rooted firmly, belonging unquestioned. What I've learned runs deeper than any courtroom win. Protecting what matters sometimes means releasing who doesn't value it the same way. True family shows in actions over time, not blood alone. Setting boundaries isn't rejection, it's self-respect that opens room for authentic connections elsewhere. If you're facing similar pressures, inheritance disputes, unbalanced dynamics, the weight of expectations, know that standing firm can lead here too, to quiet strength, genuine autonomy, life aligned with your own terms. Thank you for watching The Inheritance That Split My Family Forever. If this story resonated, please like, share, and subscribe to Revenge Stories by Olivia. I read every comment. Drop your own experiences below. And remember, sometimes the hardest battles protect the most precious peace. See you in the next story.